Starts with technique, and you kind of see that awkward stance from Juwan Taylor. It looks painful, to be honest with you. And the reason I highlighted Donovan Smith's foot is like Donovan Smith steps forward, and then trying to get that great get off with Juwan Taylor. He often sets a little bit wide, so he does a good job sometimes of sitting square, but he sets wide often, turns a couple times, and gets himself in some bad positions where he gets beat across his face. And we'll just see the two techniques of these tackles maybe first, as far as you see Donovan Smith steps forwards, and then kind of backpedals, hands down, just really wants Jadeveon Clowney, number 24, to bull rush him. And then Kyle Van Noy is over there rushing on Juwan Taylor. You see arms are wide. He's just going to try to hug it out. And you see at every position here that's unmarked, or excuse me, not a double team, we got arms wide. So when Bosa comes out and says, what do you think of the Chiefs offensive line? He says, I think they hold a lot. I mean, this is all over the tape. I mean, they literally are just waiting. Hey, punch me in the chest. I'll grab you. We'll hope for the best, because that gets Pat Mahomes another second or two. Old school gap scheme. So in the first drive, I think they ran this 3 different times, a different version of the gap scheme. So right now they're in really 13 personnel. So 3 tight ends, 1 running back. And we'll see here, we're going to go kind of old counter lead. So we're going to go down, double, block back. Guard's going to pull. Oh, no. What did I do? Sorry about that, guys. We got guards going to pull, and we've got a down block by the tight end in the blue. We got the tight end wrapping around, and we got the right guard pulling around. So you're going to see the man in motion coming block 24 to Jadeveon Clowney. Bang on the counter lead. Kelsey blocks down, gets 8, just gets his lunch ate by Roquan Smith. But Kelsey's got this crazy blocking style, man, where he just gets pummeled in the chest. And he basically lets the guy push him past the hole, and the guy rarely makes the play. It's nuts. There he does it again right there. So he just gets 8 up. The guard pulls around for Queen. They pop through somehow. Pops through Roquan Smith, hit Kelsey too hard. And as an offensive lineman, it's terrible to watch, but at the same time, he does it a couple times in this game. It's crazy effective. Of course, they got Pacheco, who just runs like a bad man, Tasmanian devil. So now we go back to a couple plays later, and they're just in 12 personnel, and they're just going to run the standard kind of gap look. So they run a gap with an insert here. So that's just a wide receiver coming in for 21. We're going to pull the right guard around again. Now we just have the tight end blocking out on Clowney. We got the double team between the guard and the left tackle, left guard, back to Roquan Smith. And then we got the right guard pulling for Patrick Queen. Queen kind of blows this thing up. They do a bad job on the double team as far as leaving too early. Plays back across his face. The difference between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers up front. Let's kind of get that out of the way. So the Baltimore Ravens up front have 2 guys that are like 350 pounds. Don't rush the passer. They have 99, 24, 50 Kyle Van Noy. They all are outside linebackers, and they all can rush the passer, but I don't think they have a single elite pass rusher. What they do is they bring a crazy amount of pressure, they run a lot of sim looks, which are simulated pressure looks. They'll run a lot of slot stuff. They'll bring linebackers. Roquan and Patrick Queen are both good at rushing the passer, Roquan especially. Steve Wilkes and that defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, he believes that his guys are going to get there at 4. He needs them to get there at 4. And I think with playing against Patrick Mahomes, he needs them to get there at 4. So you look at their guys. Nick Bosa, first-round draft pick. Eric Armstead, first-round draft pick. Javon Hargrave, high-priced free agent from Philadelphia. Chase Young was a first-round draft pick, just got traded from Washington. Go to the second team. Randy Gregory, first-round draft pick. Javon Kinlaw, first-round draft pick. Kevin Givens, college free agent. And then you've got the 5th-round draft pick, rookie this year, and then Sebastian Joseph Day, who's a rookie free agent this year as well. So they're basically 2 lines deep. They got a ton of first-rounders in there. Kinlaw's could be a starter on most teams. There's a lot of talk about Chase Young and his lack of work ethic last week. They try to spread the blame around there, but really probably just talking about him. And fair enough. It's kind of been his MO since he got into the league. Huge talent, but there's a reason he stack up the pass rush win rates, because Quite frankly, he's not a good pass rusher. He hasn't worked his craft very much. But these guys are more, stout in the middle. Eric Armstead's a great pass rusher. Javon Hargrave is a good pass rusher. He's a little more of a leveraged player. But you start looking at the difference with maybe in against the run game with the Baltimore Ravens, man. They're built up front to stop the run first. So now we've got down blocks all aboard. Everyone's down. And now we're just going to kick out with the right guard. We're going to unblock Kyle Hamilton. They might have a guy dragging down on him. But this is just the old school straight counter against a 6-man box. They're bringing in Hamilton because they brought an extra. Hamilton follows across. And again, these are like, 6-7 yard gains. So it's big time. So you see it. They got the lead counter, they got the counter gap, they got the straight gap, they got the straight counter, excuse me. So they can run from these different formations. They love that because they get the double team play side. They feel like, and I don't know if they're going to feel this way against the defensive ends of the San Francisco 49ers, that those tight ends can make those blocks. So that'll be kind of the big thing. But I think they do feel comfortable that with that head start, they can get a lot of that action on the play side as far as that tight end or that fullback coming strong play side on that defensive end. So almost like a reverse split flow. So now this is actually a split flow look with the running back opposite. Okay. So usually on this, the running back is over on our right, the quarterback's left. Okay. And they're going to run the split flow, which is everybody's just a play side zone. So they're zoned to their right, our left. They're going to take the tight end and kick out that backside defensive end. And they're usually going to run off kind of the read is kind of the first defensive tackle over the right guard to the backside defensive tackle for the running back. But it's kind of backwards here because Pacheco's on the other side. And so you see the running backs, the linebackers are they're following the football, and Pacheco just happens to be right there. Kind of an odd way to run that play. Again, and listen, I don't know that they're making a mistake, but as good as these teams are, like that stuff happens where they just lined up on the wrong side. He's like, let's just keep running it. What you like about those kind of plays is now you just run it straight into the keeper. So you use that play, and then off of that same look, it could be a different formation, but basically the same look, you just run a keeper now. So they're going to run this keeper, and they're going to have Pacheco crash the defensive end. They're going to run the motion backside. So turn this into a 2x2 almost. And they're running the clear out for Kelsey on the backside by getting rid of the linebacker in the middle of the field. So really, really smart play. Helps the lineman out. So you can tell here by Donovan Smith's stance that he's going to go backside. We see Juwan Taylor did, I think, a good job adjusting over the course of the season, adjusting his stance so he can do more than one thing out of that stance. Early in the season, he was really getting flat with his stance when he was going. It was any kind of run. Now we're talking influence box with the tight end. They're going to try to wipe out the backside. I think that's that's not Cobb. Who is that? Well, whoever that is, number 40. They're going to try to wipe him out without even having to block him. And they're just going to run. So this is like this is like split flow again, except for they're not even going to try to block the backside. They're going to release the tight end on that side of the line of scrimmage, or the football on number 40 across his face. And they're going to run him again. And they're not even going to block the best player here. Best defender, Roquan Smith, is unblocked. They still end up getting a 4 or 5 yard gain. And you see these guys. So what are they good at? Like, what do you think of the Chiefs' offensive line? They want to run the gap stuff because they want to get that double team. They like to run it to the left side because they like their right guard to pull. But I think it's because they really like Donovan Smith on the double team with Joe Thuney, if he's healthy, more so than Juwan Taylor. Now, they'll run the split flow either direction. They favor the right side as far as they like to run it to the right, but it's usually because they like the back side block a little bit better. but anything to get double teams. This isn't really a mauler. This isn't a mauler team as far as their ability to one-on-one knock a human off the line of scrimmage. So now we got uncovered help. This is what I love about Trey Smith, 65. Always looking for work. So if he's the uncovered guy, everybody, if you're running a 4-down line, you got 5 offensive linemen, even if it's a scat protection, meaning the running backs goes out, or if he's got the corner or a safety coming off the side. The offensive line is usually responsible for the 4-down lineman plus the Mike plus another linebacker. Okay. So right now they're looking at Patrick Queen. And so they have a little double between the center and the right guard. That means the left tackle, left guard are on an island. Right tackle is kind of on an island. And you'll see that he's got his feet all messed up again. But luckily, Trey Smith comes back when Calvin spins in. And he's able to kind of come back and help out. That's where he gets all his holding calls. You saw it there. And this is stuff, obviously, they're going to turn this tape in. Talking about the San Francisco 49ers is going to turn the tape into the right tackle here. The reason I have the arrow, because he's holding again. The reason I have the arrow down on Donovan Smith is what he's doing here is just getting depth, staying square to the line of scrimmage, and kind of removing options for number 99. 99 doesn't really, once you get he gets 3 or 4 steps into his rush, he's realizing, like, what am I going to do? Nothing really now but stutter bull, because I don't have a route to the quarterback upfield. If I go inside, he's already going to be able to push me down. So this is an effective way if you're able to sit and anchor on a bull rush to block a defender, a lighter defender on the defensive end. Again, you don't always just watch the result of the play. You got to watch each one of these plays, because there's a lot of things from a defensive standpoint and offensive standpoint that you need to look at as far as game planning. How am I going to win my individual matchups? So we got a 2x2. There's 12 personnel out here, 2 tight ends on the bottom of the screen. And this is the Kelsey play, where I don't think Kyle Hamilton had been scored on all year. Of course, Kelsey does it the first drive of the game. And we look at how they're matched up here. So we're going to tag Roquan Smith as the center's going, so he's going to go to the left. You got right tackle, right guard by themselves. And we're going to we're all kind of manned up here. So 26 is on the interior tight end. Kelsey's on Hamilton's on Kelsey. And then Pacheco's going to motion over. So Queen's going to take him if releases to his left. If he goes across face, he's going to pass him off to Roquan Smith. So you see already, we're holding over here. Juwan Taylor's just grabbing. Again, I'm saying this because Bosa's got a really kind of interesting way to rush the passer, right? So he's either going to go right hand down or left hand down. If he's outside foot's back, he's making his inside move on his first step. If he doesn't make his inside move, he's going to do that second step, kind of we would call a Euro step now, and then he's going to bounce back outside and then leverage bull rush or double wipe on his third step. If he's on his inside foot, if his inside foot's back, now it's second or fourth. So you got to understand this stuff if you're setting on him, because he's very deliberate in what he does. He's just really, really good at it. Again, these guys just have to attack technique. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers now. So if you know that Smith 65 sets flat all the time, especially under center, you have to be able to try to make these inside moves and get him. The name of the game is real estate. I want to get to my spot under control before that defensive tackle does. If that defensive tackle knows that I'm setting flat, then I can really disrupt with him, because if I'm a 310-pound guard and I'm going kind of from left to right really fast, and I get any kind of shake in front of me or something, or this guy fires off the ball really quickly, I'm probably not ready to have confrontation, at least from a footwork standpoint. I might get a hand out and stab the guy, but from a footwork standpoint, if I got to make a quick move, I'm probably going to turn and open up. When I do that, it's just hang on for dear life, hope the quarterback doesn't get killed. So right here, you see he's flat. Now he's trying to get that stab in. 92 had a great season, good pass rusher, and he gets that hand down, gets that edge, and right now you're just holding on for dear life, hoping like hell that your quarterback gets rid of the football. So when you're Javon Hargraves, you're Eric Armstead in particular, because he can go right upfield and bat that hand down with first step because he's like 6'8", Okay, he's got that windmill chop. He can do this right now and try to get into that lane. And then again, Patrick Mahomes does such a good job of getting rid of the ball, but you don't want anybody around your quarterback's feet. Like I said, you can't always follow the football. You don't know based on the play what's going to happen. They're going to run a TT game here because they think that Trey Smith's going to set flat. And the center is going to look over towards Roquan Smith, so he's going to look to his left or right. So they run the pick. And Smith does a pretty good job of flattening this guy down, but because you're flat, you have to lose some depth now. Instead of coming like from back to forward and be able to attack, you kind of have to catch and then retreat a little bit. Again, the ball gets loose early, but they're beat. You know, if that's a 5-step drop, he's clean into the pocket. Now, a lot of guys will say, well, Mike, you know, they might be flat setting because it's a 3-step drop. Nope, they flat set all the time. Every lineman, they want to mix things up. Nobody trusts their set enough to just have that one good set that they're really good at. Very, very few guys are. The guys that are really good at it, they don't lose very often. So it's a completed pass, but if I'm the San Francisco 49ers, I'm going, okay, there's something here. We want to take advantage of maybe some opportunities to run some games on 65. Under center trigger. So what do I mean by that? Well, when Pat Mahomes is in shotgun, there's just about anything under the sun can happen. When he's under center, it's a handoff or a play action pass, right? Very rarely does he go 5-step drop. So if you want to trigger right now, because there's something else that happens when, from an offensive lineman standpoint, when you know he's under center and you're running like a play action pass look, or your demeanor, you're in a 3-point stance more often than not. So everything changed a little bit. Are you a little more aggressive, even if you're going to trigger on the pass pro? Do you have the same awareness as if you're in a 2-point stance? There's a couple, you know, from a quarterback standpoint. Are you as willing to make adjustments at the line of scrimmage because you used to be back in shotgun? Do you see this kind of stuff? When you look out here, you got a trips look, tight end attached. And really, they're going to bring the slot here, but there's no indication from the Ravens that you're bringing the slot. You know, this safety's back. He's got outside leverage. You got inside leverage here from Marlon Humphrey. It looks like he's going to take two. He's going to split the difference. And then ultimately, if they do throw the ball on this play to replace Hamilton, we're going to have to get the linebacker out to this third receiver or get him out into the flat. So he triggers off the ball. They bring it actually from both sides here. And this is just really tough. The offensive line does a good job, particularly on 92. They run a little game over here with Clowney. They're going to inside release the tight end. Clowney's going to come in. Jawad Taylor does a good job picking him up. Right guard does a great job on the defensive tackle. They have this blocked up pretty well, but unfortunately can't get downhill because Hamilton trigger and the slot receiver just is in no position leverage-wise to make that play. And here's another problem. You can't spy Patrick Mahomes because that's literally you're taking somebody out of the passing game, passing defense. But the problem is he's really, really good on his feet. You don't think of him as being an elite level athlete, but in situations where these defenses are going to give up that edge and let him escape to his right, boy, it's a big problem. I've drawn that yellow line as just kind of an indicator of maybe where you want to end up after, let's call it three sets. If you get too wide, like after your first or second kick, if your inside foot's past that yellow line, well, there's a huge gap in between you and the right guard now. And that's the gap that obviously the defensive end wants to take. If you're in a flat set at the right guard position, you better be sure you hit him the first time, because if you don't, you got problems there. So these guys are just going to try to run both inside. You're going to see the defensive tackle kind of wins with his hands and ends up bullying the pocket. And then the defensive tackle bulls the right guard, and the defensive end kind of beats him inside and wins somewhat clean. Inside here. So this is a pressure, but the problem is Patrick Mahomes is on the loose now. And like he said in an interview last week, he's like, I might not be straight line fast, but I'm like fast on a curve or something like that. Like he turns the corner. He's some nutso thing. But I'll tell you what the other thing about Patrick Mahomes is. He might be the greatest quarterback we'll ever see, but he had his shirt off in the locker room last week, and he's got a little bit of a dad bod. And I'm not saying that to shame anybody. I was impressed as hell because he could scoot. He's like a level 10. He's like Spinal Tap 11 athlete, but he's not he's not the chiseled, any given Sunday locker room body that you might expect. That was weird. I think I might take that out. I'll probably keep it in. So they're going to set this play. We showed this already. They'll run different formations. They'll run the split flow. They can set this up, and then they can run the keeper later. So they're going to run the split flow by bringing the tight end back on Kyle Van Noy, and they're going to try to get Humphrey up to Roquan Smith. Double team with the right guard here. Push up, push up, push up. Humphrey is so good at staying square. Tyler Lindenbaum and Creed Humphrey, you watch this game, it's a clinic tape for centers on how to stay square at the point of contact on the second level, and then he finishes Smith to the ground here. Love it. This guy's a stud, man. Little route combination for you. So we've seen this look before. We got a trips look. They bring it over. So you're going to 4 exit to the right because the back and then the trips look is everyone can exit to the right here. And they're going to do that so they can run a little pick play. They got a little crossing, 2 shallow crossing routes to run a little rub for the X on the left side. Love it. And it only works if you have time. These little crossing routes, pick plays, take a little time to operate, okay? And they're going to run a little game here. They got the center going to the left, so the right guard, right tackle are on their own. And I don't know how Smith reads this, but he does a great job of reading this as far as this is going to be an ET. And comes back and just attacks Clowney. Turns him all the way around. Great help by the left guard on the other side, but just turned Clowney all the way around and turns this into a great pocket for Patrick Mahomes. And then take what you see. And what do I mean by that? So, again, this is a quick play. Kyle Van Noy is going to see Jawan Taylor set flat. He's going to beat him inside. The ball's gone. But you got to take the action as you see it. If he's going to set this way, you just got to take advantage. You see the angle that the defensive end, the stand-up linebacker over here, Kyle Van Noy is taking. It's an angle it's a pretty severe angle. He's obviously not going upfield. He's kind of running into Jawan Taylor at a 45-degree angle. And he does that. So bang, bang, inside, and he's beat. Okay? And he's beat, and he's beat, and he's beat. And we don't see this stuff because the ball's gone. But if he's got to pump this, if this is a 5-step, I mean, he's in trouble. Okay, now he can always exit, and that's the thing about Patrick Mahomes. He can do a lot of stuff. But as a outside linebacker, as a rush guy, as a Nick Bosa, as a Randy Gregory, as a Chase Young, you got to watch this and go, okay, I need to take this we call it a Cam Wake rush. We got to take that Cam Wake angle. He's going to rush out, and he just gives up that inside over and over and over. And it's just a question of whether or not they want Patrick Mahomes to get rid of that football fast enough. Crazy twist alert. Man, this is so crazy. Tampa Bay used to run this stuff. Monty Kiffin defense with Sapp. They run this thing, and you kind of liked it because, as you'll see, the left, our left, their right defensive end, and the defensive tackle end up hitting each other. But this is something else. So we got the center going over to Patrick Queen. I highlight Donovan Smith here. He's doing a good job. Punches a little bit high, but really sets and punches that guy immediately on the line of scrimmage. He tries to cross his face. They end up bumping into each other. You see Trey Smith's over here going to finish off this block almost off the screen with Jadeveon Clowney. I love that. This dude is I try to tell linemen all this all the time. Like, you get paid to pass block, man, but you get famous for pushing people. You get famous for pushing people off the ball. You get famous for finishing people to the floor. You get famous. This is what people like. This is why you get respect, right? It's great. It's great to be really, really good at pass pro. It's the most important thing. But if you really want respect, man, you got to knock people on their ass. This dude tries to knock people on his ass. That's why fans love him. It's a crazy play by Mahomes. But really, you think about it, he's holding the ball for 8 seconds here, man. It's nuts. I mean, it's a great play. I mean, really, like offensive line gets no credit there. But oh my god, they ran the crazy twist to get 8. They get about 8 seconds. All right. So they're going to run the quick trap. Okay. So they're going to trap the defensive tackle with the right guard. And this is so Donovan Smith's going to kind of fake. They're going to run a double. 73 is going all the way down to the backside linebacker. Got play side linebacker taken by the left tackle. And our man 87, I mean, absolute unit. Absolute unit. This guy, you want to talk about taking on a block. I mean, look at this stud. Eh. And then a little push at the end. It's like if he wasn't all over, so if people didn't know it, you'd think he's trying to be a hardo right here, but you kind of can tell that he's not. Like he's kind of in on the joke, right? Gotta love it, man. So 15 makes this right. So you see the route combination here. They run the pick really for the back out of the backfield, and he's open. But he's looking he's looking to the safety because he wants to throw that seam on the top of the screen. So they get Kelsey breaking out to the right on the top of the screen. You get the seam route, but the safety's already kind of tilted that way. So he wants to throw that. He could just take the flat right here. And we see Donovan Smith does a great job of taking away the inside and just flattening this guy out when he tries the inside rush. So people are going, oh, well, he got inside. No, that's a big time play by him because he's nowhere near the quarterback. He's 2 yards away from the quarterback, going horizontal. Big time play by Donovan Smith. And then Mahomes just takes off for the first down here. I think it's like a 3rd and 4. Big time play. It was a big play in the second drive of the game. And so we get back here and we got the adjustment here for the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to spike play side as Kelsey comes across. They're going to spike play side. Donovan Smith's going to pick it up, and they're going to run Patrick Queen in the C gap, okay? And we got the lead. We got the pull again, so they're running another one of their gap leads. And you're going to have to name this style of block, man, that Kelsey has right here because, again, what a unit. Just takes it right in the face. Gets pushed back, he almost ruins the play, but somehow Pacheco goes in untouched because of Trey Smith and the other tight end. And right here, he just gets in Queen's face, man. And just look at him.